Call to order.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Commissioner Adamini. Here. Commissioner DePietro.
Here.
Commissioner Elholm. Here. Vice Chair DeRocha here. Commissioner Nordine and Chairman Corkin absent, excused absent. Electronic participation. Approval of minutes from June 21.
Approve the minutes as presented.
Motion by Commissioner DePietro,
Support.
support by Commissioner Adamini. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Minutes approved. No proclamations, presentations, or awards. Approval of tonight's agenda.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Elholm,
Second.
support by Commissioner DePietro. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Agenda as it reads. Public comment. Public comment? Is there any further public comment? Any electronic correspondent comments? Okay. Hearing none, close the public comment. There is no claims of no accounts to review. Public hearings, there's no public hearing. No privilege comment, and we're going to skip down to item 11A, adoption of the final project plan for the water system improvements and designating an authorized project representative. So, our last meeting needed some clarification. With further review from civil counsel, we can proceed. I guess we have Mr. Trito from UPEA on Zoom. Do we have him on?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's right here.
Matt, would you like
Can
to?
you hear me okay, Joe?
Yes. Would you like to give us a little update?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks everyone for accommodating this additional meeting. I apologize for not being able to provide additional clarification that was necessary at the meeting last week. Some questions were posed concerning the discrepancy between the advertisement and the final project plan. Those concerns were brought to the attention of EGLE, which is the State Department in charge of administering the SRF program. That correspondence was provided as an attachment to the letter that we provided, outlining some additional information regarding the process and the resolution that I'm asking you to adopt tonight. The SRF program is a long process. We're currently on step 4 of 12 required prior to accepting the actual funding. The resolution tonight is only the approval for the submittal of the application. So additional resolutions will be required in the future, both for funding acceptance and potential rate increases, which would not take place until much further along in the process, approximately a year from today at the earliest. So that's going to give us time to gather an official offer from the state, analyze that, and then hold additional meetings with the public with actual accurate information on what the project size, scope, and cost implications are for the water users. So once the resolution is approved and the project plan submitted, we will be getting ranked and hopefully receiving a funding offer from the state, which will outline the terms and conditions of the funding. This offer will be compared to other funding programs, most notably USDA Rural Development, to ensure that we're obtaining the most cost-effective infrastructure improvements for our water customers. I believe all of the funding that we've received in the past has been through USDA Rural Development. There has been a range of success that we've received from USDA RD. KI Sawyer actually qualifies for up to 75% grant through that program. I believe the sewer project previously was somewhere in the 20 to 30% range. There's a bunch of different factors that come into play. Usually, the encumbrance of debt actually helps increase your probability to qualify for higher grant percentages. So we are cautiously optimistic that KI Sawyer would qualify for the 50 to 75% grant range in the event that we actually end up moving forward with USDA rural development. So tonight, the adoption of this formal resolution is just the approval of the actual submittal of the application to see what type of offer we get from the state. We're expecting, Angela had said in her email correspondence, that we were looking at maybe August or September for preliminary rankings and preliminary funding offers. At that point in time, we're going to be able to look at that information and say, okay, it appears that the state has provided an offer that's more competitive than USDA rural development. We don't believe that's very likely. But once we get that offer, we can make a recommendation back to the county on what the actual most cost-effective funding mechanism would be, and then give you guys a recommendation on how to proceed. And if we decide that the state offer is the most cost-effective, then public notice and additional public hearings can be held that demonstrates the true cost implications of the project to the user and what the cost implications would be on their rates.
Thank you for that clarification, Matt. I appreciate that. Anybody have any further questions for UPE?
I just have a question. If we did go with USDA, would we have to do another complete title search of every parcel affected out there?
No, they've changed their rules, thankfully. So for USDA rural development, one of the nice things about these two different programs is the development of these project plans are actually really similar. You're analyzing a lot of the same components. You're gathering a lot of the same information. So we should be able to use the project plans that we developed for the water program and the sewer program and fairly cost effectively turn those into USDA rural development funding applications as well. You are familiar with the preliminary title work that is required of the USDA RD process. We actually have received good news here in the last 3 years that the Office of General Counsel for USDA Rural Development has actually significantly rolled back the title search requirements that are necessary to close on a USDA Rural Development loan. They're now only making us do title searches in areas that are actually receiving the funding. So since you guys have gone through the more labor-intensive process on the USDA rural development sewer side, that work is already in place and is already on the books and is easy to reference for us when we close on the sewer. For the water side, I don't believe there is a USDA rural development loan on the books for them that would require some work, but thankfully it would be specific to the project scope and not the entirety of the system.
Yeah, that's very good, because 8 or 10 years ago, I had to do that. It took me a long time.
Yeah, it can take years. I'm in Wakefield tonight, and I remember going through that process. And a lot of old mining communities, Air Force bases, they ran water and sewer infrastructure kind of wherever they pleased. And when the property ownership got turned over, a lot of humans weren't.
We lost
We lost you.
Matt, we lost you. Can you hear us? Matt, we must have lost him.
I think he's just muted because he's still connected. Yeah, we're not picking up any audio.
Can you see us? I think you're muted, Matt. You're on mute. You were muted. Can you check your screen? He's froze. No,
he's there.
No, we can't hear you.
Can you hear us, Matt?
Can you chat with him, Adam?
No, because we disabled chats for webinars because you told me to.
Well, he can see his,
Yeah.
his him. I mean,
All right, we're
the
okay.
camera is right behind Commissioner DePietro, so.
Here, actually, I can do this. This will be-
There.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was weird, sorry about
So,
that.
no worries, no worries. So, is there any commissioners have any further questions?
More of a comment. I appreciate the work that you did on this, Mr. Frito, along with staff, and for a quick turnaround on this. And the confusion, at least from my point of view, was how important those dollar figures were in the public notice. And it appears it's not a major issue or a disqualifying issue. And information will be updated, especially if there's different funding sources, I imagine. So I appreciate all the hard work and thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, usually this is like a 6 to 9 month process that got condensed into a 2-month process. And I know Dwayne talked to other consultants, and during those conversations, they said completing these applications and getting them submitted and approved wasn't even possible. And yeah, I mean, the speed in which this was generated definitely was a contributing factor, but after we submit these project plans, the schedule turns into a normal project schedule, and this is not some expedited race anymore. It's back to business as usual, and we'll be following our appropriate time, our QA, QC process to make sure mistakes like this aren't happening again.
Any further questions or comments from the commission?
I move to adopt a resolution adopting a final project plan and water system improvements and designating an authorized project representative in this. No.
If I may, the person who voted against this is the one who needs to make the motion this evening.
Name first?
Commissioner Adamini or
Oh, you mean who voted no?
Yeah, we
Oh, I
appreciate
thought-
your
I
enthusiasm.
thought it was the other way
We need
around.
somebody who voted against this originally last week.
Yeah, all right, back to the work. Okay. Let's take.
You got ahead of me. My no vote at the last meeting was not anything against this project. It was only that I thought there could be a possible flaw if the proposal was for a smaller amount than it was designed for. Now that I've heard the explanation, I would move to approve it at this meeting. Motion to approve the resolution, yes, supported by Commissioner Alholm.
Am I allowed?
I guess should I read it's the same resolution with the corrected dates.
It's a short one,
I'd like to read it in. Whereas Marquette County recognizes the need to make improvements to its existing water treatment and distribution system. And whereas Marquette County authorizes UP Engineering and Architect, Inc. to prepare the project plan, which recommends the construction of new generators at the existing wells, storage tanks, building improvements, elevated water tank refurbishing, and associated tasks. And whereas the said project plan presented at a public hearing held on June 27th, 2022, all public comments have been considered and addressed. Now there let it be resolved that Marquette County formally adopts the said project plan and agrees to implement the selected alternative number 1. Be it further resolved that the county administrator, a position currently held by Scott Irvish, is designated as authorization representative for all activities associated with the project referenced above, including the submittal of this said project plan as first step by applying to the state of Michigan for a revolving fund loan to assist in the implementation of the selected alternative. We'll take a roll call vote.
So I might make one correction for the record, that the public hearing was on the 21st. That was an error.
That was my mistake.
So just as a clarification for the public hearing was on the 21st.
The public hearing is already.
With that said, Commissioner Adamini, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Elholm?
Yes.
Commissioner DePietro?
Yes.
Commissioner DeRosa?
Yes.
Thank you.
No late additions, public comment.
We have just one, it's more of a 1011B, it's just a approval to allow consideration to pursue as noted by Mr. Trio on that. They're not going to be moving forward with necessarily the USDR application, but there's going to be time that we want them to do those comparisons, and that's all this is, just asking for the board to bless that going forward. Not-
I would so move.
Motion by Commissioner Elholm, support.
Support.
Support by Commissioner DePietro. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried to approve authorization for USDA funding. No late additions? Public comment? Public
Yeah,
comment?
I just want to say thanks to everybody, apologize for the need for an additional meeting, and, yeah, looking forward to, smooth sailing from here on out.
Thank you. Any further public comment? No other electronic, is there any other electronic? No. Okay. I don't,
You have to have closed session.
yeah, we had closed session, slated, but given the current update from civil council on the tentative agreement with road patrol, I'd like a motion to move that tentative agreement forward.
Should have the resolution then? I would move to adopt a resolution, ratifying the tentative bargaining agreement between Marquette County and Marquette County Sheriff's Office and Marquette County Deputy Sheriff's Union / Police Officers Association of Michigan.
Support. Motion by Commissioner Elholm, support by Commissioner Adamini. Discussion? Good job.
I was just gonna say.
You need a roll call on that.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Elbom,
Yes.
Commissioner DePietro,
Yes.
Commissioner Adamini,
Yes.
and Vice Chair DeRosa.
Yes.
Sorry. Committees.
Resolution passed. Commissioner comments? Commissioner comments?
I'd also would just like to commend the negotiating staff on the county sheriff's union side and Marquette County management side. They did an excellent job of give and take, and finally were able to work a good solution, and kudos to both teams. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Steve?
No, thank you.
I'd like to also thank Marquette Law for its effort this week in getting this expedited, and also the union contract. No further. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you all for coming to the session.